Howdy, Wolfpack fans. Welcome to this week's edition of Ramey's Pregame Pod. This will publish Saturday morning, October 26th. Nevada in action tonight, 9 o'clock Pacific time at Hawaii. Mike Edwards and I will get started on the Bud Light Tailgate Show starting at 8 o'clock Pacific time. But a full day of football ahead of all of you, ahead of all of us. And so this will drop in the morning on Saturday. We record this on Wednesday. We caught up with Mountain West Insider Terrence Newman, previewing the Hawaii matchup, going over what went wrong against Fresno State. Terrence still bullish on the Wolfpack becoming bowl eligible in 2024. So here is my unabridged conversation with Terrence, excerpted version of this conversation during the Bud Light Tailgate Show. That gets started at 8 o'clock Pacific, ahead of the 9 o'clock kick time at Hawaii. Here's Terrence. Hawaii, Nevada still seeking that first Mountain West victory, and the Pack a 1-point favorite on Oahu facing Hawaii. Rainbow Warriors 2-5 overall, also winless, 0-2 in the Mountain West. Their two victories have come at home. Those two victories, as you have pointed out, Terrence Newman, are against non-FBS opponents. Head coach Timmy Chang is now in his third season. Of course, Nevada fans know Coach Chang from his 5-season tenure as an assistant coach, coaching tight ends and wide receivers under Jay Norvell from 2017 to 2021. He is one of our favorite people. He is now 10-23 in his third season as the head coach at his alma mater, where, of course, he was a record-setting quarterback. But, Terrence, I think I want to start with the defense. Timmy Chang hired a bunch of new assistant coaches, including defensive coordinator Dennis Thurman, who was in his first season. And you and I were texting a little bit about Thurman. He played for the Cowboys. He played for Tom Landry and won a Super Bowl with Roger Staubach. He was an All-American at USC, won a national championship there in 1974. So he's a national champion, a Super Bowl champion as a player. He's been a defensive coordinator in the league with the Jets and the Bills. Previously, he was with Coach Prime as the defensive coordinator both at Jackson State and last year at Colorado. And surprise, surprise, Hawaii's defense is a lot better this year.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this team, it's not what you traditionally expect from a Hawaii team. They are led by their defense. They play tough, stingy defense. They got some good athletes on that side of the ball. They do a really good job of keeping the other team's yardage down. Traditionally, when you think of Hawaii, you think of offense. You think of offensive football. You think of spread the field out.
Balls flying all over the yard.
Balls flying all over the place. Just run and gun. And they still try to do that on offense, but it's not quite the same. It's weird. Their passing game has not been as dynamic this year as it has been in the past. Their running game is just as non-existent as it's always been. But yeah, when you watch them play, they don't seem to have the depth at wide receiver that they seem to usually have, especially in the past. For the Nevada defense, I think if they can lock in and key on Pofele Ashlock, the sophomore wide receiver, he really is their most dynamic player on offense. But yeah, as far as this Hawaii team goes, they are definitely led by their defense. They're both pretty solid against the run and against the pass. They get after the quarterback. They put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, 15 sacks. 15 sacks in 7 games.
That's going to be a big key for Nevada is being able to keep Belu upright in this game.
All right, and a couple of notes there. So Ashlock, as you mentioned, the fine Hawaii receiver, not on the depth chart this week. And we're going to explore more about that. We'll know more by game time by the time you hear this. And also Belu pulled against Fresno State, got beat up. It was intimated by Nevada head coach Jeff Choate it was a precautionary measure, but it is not certain that Lewis will play this week at Hawaii. And so Chuba Purdy, AJ Bianco, who of course is a Hawaii native, and Brendan Lewis are all potentially going to play. But Lewis questionable, and that is directly related to the pulverizing he took and the Wolfpack took against Fresno State. So let's pivot back to that last game. We'll come back to Hawaii and the
Oh, I
matchup a
can
little
almost
bit.
point out the play.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
that
there were a
slide. It
couple.
was that late
Yeah,
hit on that slide.
the
I mean,
targeting.
that target was, oof, it was dirty.
Yeah. And, Fresno State sacked him 3 times. Fresno State sacked Nevada quarterbacks 4 times overall. In the second half of that game, Fresno State just kind of decided to blitz a lot, and Nevada never really could cope with it. And I felt like for really on the second time this year, the other example being Minnesota, I felt that Nevada was out physical. They were the less physical team. And perhaps unsurprisingly, they were unable to muster any points in the second half. Is that how you saw the Fresno State loss?
Um, yeah, Fresno State definitely came out in that second half with a different attitude. I mean, if we could just those punts,
I know.
those weren't really Nevada being out physical. That was mostly just blown assignments. Those were guys just running right up the middle, free at the punter. Those are mental mistakes. Those are mistakes that they can easily be fixed. Honestly, you take those plays out, like they're right there. They're right there that whole game. That going into this season, we all predicted Fresno State to be one of the top half teams in the conference, if not one of the top 3. And I'd say for the first half of that game, Nevada was clearly the better team. And then in the second half, I don't know if it was just they took the foot off the gas a little bit, and Fresno put their foot a little bit more on the gas. But either way, they were right there. That was a game they should have won. That was a game that Wolfpack fans and that team left that field thinking we were the better team. We should have won that game. And yeah, that might end up being a pretty big loss.
Yeah.
When we get to the end of the year, because I believe this team still has a chance to make a bowl game this year, which I think would be huge. Coming off of last year, if they could get to bowl eligible this year, that would be an A+ season. That's why I think this game is a must win.
Yeah, if they want to go to a bowl, they've got to win this game, right?
This game's a must win. Air Force is a must win. And then between UNLV, Boise State, Colorado State, if you can pull an upset in one of those games, that's the path to bowl eligibility for this team. So yeah, they kind of let one slip through their fingers right there because that was a win they should have had. There was one really bright standout I got to give a little shout out to.
Mm-hmm.
We talk a lot about the Nevada running game. We don't give a whole lot of love to the passing game. Jaden Smith, wide receiver, senior, 9 catches, 134 yards last week. That adds an element to this offense that we have not had, and I think that's huge. I think it's key to have that deep passing threat so that the team's defense can't load the box against us. That's just going to open up those running lanes for B. Lou and for Savion. And yeah, I think his emergence as a real legit threat in the passing game could be huge for the rest of the season for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, I'm on that. Smith's like 6'4". He's a big target outside. They throw the jump ball to him in the end zone.
Lanky target. Yeah. It's got that Randy Moss body type.
He does.
You can throw it up. He can jump up there and get it. And that's a guy that Nevada just didn't have last year. There was no wide receiver on the team like that last year.
Yeah, I agree. Smith is now the receptions leader, the touchdown catches leader, and the yardage leader. Yeah. And he has been a consistent performer. He's also pretty sure-handed. He'll go on those one-on-one battles and bring it down, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Good receivers make it look easy and they're consistent with it, but it's not.
Yeah.
And
I just totally his emergence. It adds a new dynamic, a new wrinkle to this offense.
Yeah.
But
if Lewis can't go, Choate said in his news conference on Monday that the offense doesn't change that much with regard to the play calling. He said not at all. So they would still look at RPOs, even if it's Bianco or Purdy, but neither of them are the skilled runner that Lewis is, right? So the offense, even if you're calling the same plays, becomes a little more limited without Brendan Lewis back there.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I mean, clearly, Bianco is a pretty good athlete. He can move his feet. I haven't really seen enough of Purdy to see how he runs with the
He's
ball.
not slow. I mean, he's caught a pass. He's run. I mean, he's okay.
Yeah,
I don't think he's a game breaker as a runner.
yeah. So, yeah, I believe that is kind of true. The offensive philosophy really doesn't change. It still is going to be a heavy run RPO based. And yeah, I think the other guys are athletic enough to where they'll have to keep the defense honest. Now, they might not be the threat that Belu is with his legs, but they're enough of a threat to where the defense has to make sure they keep a guy home on him, and it keeps him honest. And so yeah, I think the offense probably won't change much depending on who the quarterback is. Honestly, I think the key to this game is gonna be on the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I no matter who the quarterback is, I do think Nevada's offense should be able to produce enough points against Hawaii's defense. Um, Now we know Hawaii's going to spread the ball out. They're going to want to put 3-4 wide receivers out there. They're going to want to chuck the ball all over the field. Now Nevada's done a good job in pass defense as far as turnovers. 9 interceptions, top half of the conference. They do a good job in the back end of the defense. The issue I'm mostly concerned about is up front. Now, we don't do a good job stopping the run, but that's not a problem in this game. But what we also don't do is we don't get to the quarterback enough.
Right.
We only have 9 sacks on the season. That's near the bottom in the conference. The key to this game, the two keys is can Nevada keep their quarterback upright? And can Nevada get the Hawaii quarterback on the ground? We have to make sure that if we're not getting sacks on him, he at least needs to be throwing the ball under duress. He can't have no clean pockets. Okay, we need to make sure that he's on the move or under pressure. There needs to be a body, a hand in their face, just to disrupt the timing of their offense.
And let's say his name, Terrence. It's Braden Shager. He's made 33 career starts, 4th most in Hawaii history, and he will tie for 3 on the all-time list in games started against Nevada. He's also 4th on the all-time completion list. He needs 9 more to move into number 3 all-time. I mean, that is a distinguished quarterbacking tradition at Hawaii. And so, yeah, if Shager gets time to operate, he's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very experienced quarterback. He's played a lot of games. Honestly, I think he was a little better last year.
Mm-hmm.
He did have some interception problems last year, and he kind of still has those problems this year.
Yeah, 7 picks against 13 touchdowns. He's completing 61% of his balls, but he's thrown for the most yardage in the conference, nearly 1,800 yards.
Yeah, but he should. When you throw the ball that much, you should have the most passing yardage in the conference. Yeah, he's a really good quarterback. He's a very experienced quarterback, and that's why it's very important that we do put a body on him. They have to rattle him. They can't let him get in a comfort. They can't let him get in a vibe where he's going back there and has time to just survey the whole field and they need to be pressuring him. It needs to be quick decisions, get the ball out of his hands fast, and then they have to get off the field on 3rd down. Nevada has been really bad on getting off the field on 3rd down. And that's a part of the getting pressure on the quarterback. That those two things go hand in hand because 3rd down's passing down. So if they can get to the quarterback, if they can get off the field on 3rd down, Nevada should win this game.
They're favored on the island. Now, again, Hawaii 2-5, but their wins are over FCS Delaware State and Northern Iowa. Right.
And the trend is not good.
Yeah.
They're coming off of
3 in a row.
They're coming off of 2 bad losses.
Yeah.
They got beat up pretty bad by Washington State, and they got beat up pretty bad by Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State beat them in Honolulu 28-7 on the 12th, and Washington State beat them in the Palouse last Saturday 42-10. Hawaii was down 21-3 at halftime, so that game was not particularly competitive at all.
No, no. So they are on a downward trajectory right now. That's why this Nevada needs to not play around. Like we said before, don't play with your food. This is one of those
Don't play
games
with your
where
food.
like from the opening whistle, Nevada needs to just come out, hit them in the mouth, some tough physical football. Get up on them early, because when when you're on a streak like Hawaii is, where you've been blown out a couple of games in a row, you start every game pumped up. You start every game being like, yeah, this is it. We're turning it around. But
It's homecoming.
if you look up and it's 14-0, 21-0 in the second quarter, it's kind of hard to fight those feelings of, oh,
Yeah.
here we go again. So that's what Nevada needs to do to them. They need to come out swinging, get up on them early, and then just put them to bed.
It's funny. We were talking about that during the broadcast. Edwards and I were discussing how last year it was Nevada that kind of had that glass jaw. Yeah, shout out Big Mike. Nevada kind of had that glass jaw. If you got a score or two early, Pack
because they knew last year.
Yeah.
Last year they knew with their offense.
Yeah, they couldn't muster a comeback.
They couldn't muster up a comeback more than a touchdown. Really, 10 points and the game was over. This year, they believe in their offense. They can. And you can tell there's a different vibe on the offense this year. They
can absorb a blow. They don't go down. Yeah,
they don't go down. Yeah, and so yeah, that's what Nevada needs to do. They need to remind Hawaii, hey, you've been blown out the last few weeks, and we're gonna blow you out again, and just kind of demoralize them early. Don't let them hang around. Don't let them think that they're in this.
For Nevada, except for the Minnesota loss, I think you can point to 3 or fewer plays in every loss where you can identify, oh, that was a critical error that probably cost you the game. 3 or fewer plays, right? You've got the 2 punt fiascos and the 3rd shanked punt against Fresno State. I wrote my entire column this week on NevadaSportsNet.com on the importance of punting. Fresno State average starting field position was their own 37. Nevada's was their own 20 in a 3-point game.
You got to get the punt off.
You got to get the punt off, yeah. I mean, Nevada had a 21-yard punt late.
Off. Like that was.
But so there's the punting in that game. There's the back-to-back kind of stand on your head plays at the end of San Jose State. There's SMU with their lightning strike touchdown in the last 90 seconds, right? I mean, you could just go down the list. And so I have to think, or I want to think, that means Nevada can carry, even after that loss to Fresno State, a confidence that if they just don't, score an own goal or have a big missed assignment in a critical moment, they're probably going to win. Is that the correct way to look at it? Or is it a cumulative trauma, right? And you start thinking, oh, geez, you grip and you don't want to screw up late, right? How does the psychology of that work?
I actually believe this team has confidence.
Okay, I do too.
Yeah, no, I think they're kind of the opposite of Hawaii. They've grown confidence through their losses, because their losses are all to really good teams, and they can honestly tell themselves, we could have won those games, especially last week.
Except Minnesota.
Except Minnesota. Minnesota's the only game that was like a real blowout for them. But other than that, all their other losses are less than a touchdown, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, there's certain points in the game where you can point to and say, oh, the ball bounced a little different here. If we made a little different decision here, we could have won those games. And so yeah, I believe that this team actually goes into every game thinking they have a chance to win. I think last week they went into that game thinking, we're as good as Fresno State. We have a chance to win. We should win. And they played like that for most of the game. And so, yeah, no, I think that they leave a game like last week disappointed in themselves for letting the opportunity go. but not discouraging themselves because they understand that they had that opportunity. They were good enough to where they were in position to win that game. And it's just, the details, just the small little details. And, every week they're getting a little bit better and better at it. And this is the week to finally put it all together.
All right, we're recording this on Wednesday. The team is flying to Honolulu Thursday. Of course, 6 o'clock kickoff or 5:59 kickoff Hawaii time Saturday night. So that will be 8:59 Pacific time. And this will be the last game of the day. So can we just quickly peruse the Mountain West scoreboard or the scheduled games here for the weekend, Terrence? Just do a quick lightning round because there's one game that's real juicy, and it's actually the Friday night game. Boise State at UNLV. How about that?
That's the Group of 5 game of the year right now. Until we get to Army Navy.
Sure. That's a great point. I mean, it will have concluded by the time this publishes, so I'm not going to have you make a prediction, but
yeah.
Is it just
let's just say this:
GT?
whoever the winner of that game, whether it is UNLV or Boise State, and we will know by the time you're listening to this,
yeah,
that team will be the odds-on favorite to make the playoffs.
Just one other one that's pretty interesting to me is San Jose State at Fresno State. That is a 5 o'clock Pacific kick. And Fresno State's 5-point favorites. But I think, that's a rivalry game.
I think
it's
San
at
Jose
Fresno.
State's a better team.
Yeah. And that's a critical game within the standings, too.
Just going off of how I saw those teams perform against Nevada, I think San Jose State has the better team. If Fresno's the favorite, then I think there's probably going to be an upset.
Yeah. Again, this will publish Saturday morning, so that game will not have played by the time this hits the internet. But by the time you listen to this on the Bud Light Tailgate Show, there may be a score in that game, but we'll probably cut this part out. This will be the special extended part of Ramey's pregame pod. But you can listen to an excerpt of this conversation on the Bud Light Tailgate Show. Remember, Nevada kicking off at 8:59 Pacific time Saturday. So we'll be on the air at 8 o'clock Pacific time, Mike and me, on the Bud Light Tailgate Show. And we'll have Terrence, we'll have Coach Choate, we'll have Mike Edwards. We'll try to bring you all the flavor, all the aloha spirit back to the mainland. Terrence, it's a tough assignment, as you understand. But
I hope you got that. You got that sunblock ready for that head.
Yes. Come on now. I wear sunblock in the rain. He is Terrence Newman, very concerned for my dermatological health, and we appreciate that. Terrence, Mountain West Insider, bullish on the Pack at Hawaii. Nevada kicks off 9 o'clock Pacific time, the last game of the day on this glorious college football Saturday, October 26th. Join the Hall of Famer Mike Edwards and me starting at 8 p.m. Pacific time for the Bud Light Tailgate Show from Honolulu. We look forward to visiting with you then. Aloha.